Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. I'm Roy. I coach Destroy and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvinator.
Righto, today we are having a look at the mighty Brisbane Lions.
Premiership winning Brisbane Lions.
How good were they?
They were good. And it's got us to the end of this club preview series, boys.
Yep. Said we'd never
And we
make
get
it.
to talk about the Premiers, and there's a little bit to talk about.
Yeah, there is.
Because they are a very good team and pumped out plenty of big fantasy scores. Last year, they ranked number 2 for points for.
I wouldn't have picked that.
And they were pretty tough against. So they're one of those teams that are super relevant as
Makes
they are.
sense for a Premiership team.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it's probably how they won it because of fantasy points. But the key about them, before we start everything, they've got the round 3 bye. And it is that big early bye that we have been talking about a fair bit, where they do share that with Collingwood, Geelong and Sydney. And there are players that we all want to pick here, but they all come with that little bit of a caveat because of that. So let's just start with last year, and we'll go with our 3 players over $1 million. Almost $1 million, though. It was almost 4. Hugh McCluggage. He's $999,000. So nearly there. Round him up. He had a 97.4 average. Good player. Anyway, play on from him. Lockie Neal, 101.2 average. Yeah.
Got it done
He
again.
Just
Just does, yeah.
Then you got Dunkley. This is where
Okay.
we'll start some discussion.
The most frustrating man on the
But
planet.
why? But why? He averaged 107.
I know.
How could I be so angry? How could I have such a sour taste?
He's the 4th
in
most
my
expensive
mouth?
mid. He's the 4th best midfielder.
Why?
How
On
does
average,
he do it?
from last year. So, I remember, Roy, we got him and he had that 61 in round 19 after he was coming off 118, 158, 140, 106. So he can score. We know that. Only averaged 93 in the last 6 games, and that's where our sour taste comes from.
It's very sour.
Because he was going at 113 before.
Yeah.
That. So then, what a difference 6 weeks can make in your field. Far out. Anyway, so,
Dunks.
yeah, good player. I have some trust issues there, though, with anything. And that would even come to draft day as well,
Yeah.
because that's going to sit there. But anyway, good player is, 4th most expensive.
Yeah, he's a jet. I love him.
Will he be
but
a
I'm
top,
angry at him.
top 8?
Yep.
Probably. All right, then the big one, though, is Dayne Zorko. $1.131 million you're going to pay for him because he had a huge season. Like
20-year breakout.
Absolutely ridiculous. So went at 110 and it was just... He was a must-have player. And out of us, I know I fought it badly.
Yeah.
Cow was an early adopter.
Cow was outstanding.
Didn't help you much, though.
Launched.
Because Roy heard him on the radio.
That's right.
Yeah.
On the way in.
And you liked his tone. And I was like, that's good enough for me.
I think...
Positive.
We kept looking for, I kept looking for issues.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, things went his way because we'll talk Keidean Coleman later, but he did his ACL in that first game.
Yeah.
Zorko started forward. He started on fire, kicked 2 goals in the first quarter and scored 45 points. That's not sustainable because Kick had 15 points, 16 points, then had 39 in the last. And this was a turning point where he was at halfback. That's where he went to. So that round 2 bye was probably where a lot of us would have been worried about it.
Yeah.
And even just with that limited data to jump on. Some people did, and some people did straight away after that round 2 bye because of what they saw there. Scores of 105 and 99. His kick to handball ratio was off the charts.
Elite.
It was absolutely everything you want, and was going at an awesome clip there. Round 7. Don't know if you guys remember this, but the sicko in me that didn't have him in my team, he started forward against GWS on Anzac Day night.
I remember that.
And I thought, here it is. But it wasn't, because he went back, because he only had 62 in that game.
Did he?
62 points. And so then the naysayers were going, oh, here it is.
The
Anyway,
naysayers.
Me.
Yourself. Yeah.
And then the next week, dog?
And then scored 184 the next week.
Back in your face.
40 disposals, 16 marks, and that
He
was
nearly
the
tripled
actual
it.
highest score of the year. So he was a machine, and that's what it was. I guess then the question is, we can all think about last year, but is this what it's going to be this year? Is that where this role is? Because Keidean Coleman was playing that role, and Zorko may have ended up back there, if that's how it could have gone. But if Kitty was playing, it would have been harder for him to go back there.
Zorko does this role better than Kitty.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Prelim final 126, grand final 127.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. He's a better distributor.
He is.
Definitely.
And it was just a key figure in their
And all Australian.
grand final makeup and All Australian. And they got his body through a full season doing it.
Yeah.
It's just, he just does it again.
So he stays in that role.
Yep.
Does Coleman make the best 22?
So this is the thing. Well, yes, he does. But the thing is, this is where the Coleman stuff is, and we talk about him because he's at 521k, so he's priced at 51, ridiculously cheap
Very
for
cheap.
what he can do.
So cheap.
We'll talk about what he can do, but he did his ACL in round 0, so in opening round. So it's going to be coming up to the 12 months for round 1, or whatever we want to call it, to start the season. And so that's probably the concern as such. Like, are they going to ease him? We need some good track watching coming up here to see what that's going to look like.
Because they're in a position where they can ease.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah.
They've got a few changes too, which I guess we'll talk about with players coming in. Like Tom Doedee, he missed all of last year. Like, he comes into that back line, you would think.
Yes.
With how that works. Anyway, so Kitty, I guess we're all locked and loaded on him this time. When we recorded this podcast last year, we wanted him. We're going to pick him. We didn't care about that early buy that they had last year because he was still pretty cheap because he was coming off that grand final. We scored 127 in that grand final and that they lost to Collingwood. 63 points he had in the first quarter, and I think that's where everyone was up and about. But it wasn't just that because in 106 in the prelim final, the last 12 games, and this is pretty much after, Roy, here's some memories for you when Daniel Rich subbed himself out of that game. He went, for those 12 games after that, he went at 89. So he was going at this premium level scoring, and we're getting him a lot cheaper. Like, I think it was low 70s or something like that.
So he's a jet.
So the thing is, at that 51, even if he is eased back in, like, you're still getting a fair bit of value, but it is a flag.
Oh, it is. Yep, definitely. Their depth is a flag. The fact they've got the luxury of being able to ease him back in is a flag. The fact that Zorko now owns that position is a flag.
Fourth most selected player at the moment.
Yeah.
Coleman.
But
and fair enough.
Oh, and 100% fair enough. I'm just agreeing with all dogs' flags, but he's just too cheap to say no to if he's playing.
Yeah, and you've got a flag. That's the thing. We've got to throw out both sides.
Yes.
Not like you, Cow, where there's no reason why you just can't go 150.
So they play Geelong in the opening round.
Yeah.
At home. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no reason why that game won't go ahead.
Right. One of the players have brought in, and this is huge, Levi Ashcroft.
Yes.
So here's another one, just throw in that mix of going a value play that's got that early buy that you almost need to carry through because you're going to pick him. 328k you pay for him. He's actually the most selected line. He's third overall, so he's a little bit more ownership than Kitty there.
He is.
Averaged 108 for Sandringham last year, so can find the pill. 88 for Vic Metro, but he did play one game in the VFL.
Yeah. He didn't just play it.
145 he racked up.
What is that?
Now,
I don't know how we could say no.
just to put a flag there as well.
Oh, yeah.
He had some post-season shoulder surgery.
Right.
So he's on a modified program, or has been, but he's looking impressive. So he's playing round 1, though.
Yes, he will.
Isn't he?
He has to.
Look, we don't want too many on this round, but he could force our hand very easily in opening.
I think so. I think he has to.
Yeah.
He's very
Well, rookies, I think you can get away with them anyway.
I know.
That's the thing.
It's just unless we start having too many.
Yeah, right. No rookie crisis?
No.
There's no rookie crisis
this year. No.
Rightio. His brother, Will Ashcroft, is another one that people are liking as well.
They're very hot on
and
old
that's
Will.
because at 843k, price at 82, that's down on what he probably can and will achieve. He's Norm Smith medalist. Obviously, that was a massive game there. 30 disposals, 5 marks, 3 tackles and a goal, 109 points. Yeah. He did have his best game, and this is probably where he really jumped on the radar. In round 24 against the Bombers, he had 30 touches, 15 marks. Not sustainable that side of the the equation, but the 3 tackles helped him to 136. So some pretty decent numbers. And we all know his numbers were great as a kid as well. So there is upside. I guess how much it is.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, is he just, and I say it with inverted commas, but like, is he just going to be a mid-90s type guy, or can he be like one of the real big dogs of the comp?
I think he's a big dog.
Yeah.
This year, do you think he can be a big dog?
I think 100 big dog.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'd start him without second guessing it. If they didn't have the bye, I'd be locking him in.
And Levi's a big one coming in because he's going to get clock, not the same mid-clock, you wouldn't think, but he's there. Dunkley and Neil aren't getting moved out of there.
No chance.
Hugh McCluggage probably slides out a bit as he did towards the end of the season anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think there's enough meat on the bone to carry him from the start of the year.
How many guys? Yeah, and how many guys? Like, they were the second highest scoring team, but how many guys can go over 100?
Well, there you go. There's that as well.
They might have a bit of Hollywood about them, though.
They might.
You know, you think about the old Collingwoods and Geelongs that win a flag and then it's just fantasy frenzy.
I guess my question, at 82, what does it need to be a good pick, considering that buy as well?
Considering the buy as well. Oh, yeah, that's tough.
For me,
we're going to need...
It's well over 100.
And you're going to have to have a
have
pretty
to be
good
105.
opening round score, wouldn't you?
There are too many people we're carrying who are too big a bargains to pass up than to carry Ashcroft as well. That's my...
But then would you put Ashcroft in that bargain category? It's probably... Well, Roy's nearly got 18 points upside.
I do.
No.
That's how good I think he is.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't
Agree.
There you go.
Right, a couple of names just to mention them because we can, with the forward line being the forward line, and it's probably more the draft thing. Rayner, he scored a couple of hundreds last year, but guess what? They were his first since his debut season in 2018.
Rayner! Let him rain!
I'm just constantly disappointed by him, Roy.
Yeah.
Rain dance!
No.
Kyle Lohman, he was a good cash cow. He was great last year. Zach Bailey. Always get tricked in draft.
He's always drafted.
Always in my
just
draft.
does what he does.
You guys always have him too.
Yeah.
I always draft him as well.
Just one of those guys.
We all end up with him.
What was he? 69 last year, down from the 72 and the 70 the year before that. That's just what he is.
He is, isn't he?
But on a year like this, he's probably draftable again.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about some cash cows. Now, we mentioned Levi there before, and he is the top of them, but Sam Marshall was the other draftee. He's at 268k, was he? Like Academy or something? I think he was.
Something like that.
Whatever he was. He's there anyway. 87 average head in the NAB. Scored 57 and 51 in the VFL. Average 99 in the under-18 championships. Now, still rookie price, Dev Robinson.
Dev!
Now, Dev, should have he made that call the year before? To go.
Probably.
So,
how does he get in this team?
Don't know.
So he scored 26
far
in round one
behind now.
last year. Then he was round two sub for 28. But he averaged 98 in the VFL. So you can get him as that dual position, the mid-forward, at 301k.
But it's a bargain, but
it's hard. He's not making the side.
he's not, is he?
No.
And
I can't believe this has happened.
Next year he'll be even cheaper and he'll be in a different team.
James Tunstall has been sub 2 out of his 3 games, and so he's still at 230k. He's also mid-forward. He averaged 96 from his 17 games in the VFL, so
not bad.
just another one to watch
Not
there.
bad.
But again, like we say, it's just it's a hard team to crack, and this is why these later podcasts in the club preview series, we're not talking about the cash cows here, really, unless you're a Levi Ashcroft.
Yeah,
So
because it's just too hard to get in.
Oh, a bit more than a cash cow, and if they didn't have the buy and we didn't have all this stuff, Tom Doedee would have been interesting, I reckon, at 399k.
Yeah,
Like
he would have been
underpriced from what he's been able. Like he's done 70s in the past.
His debut year he did 70.
Yeah, so he's priced at 39. Like
it's incredibly cheap.
he goes 60
Easy.
Yeah, he does.
surely.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You know, in a good team as a defender.
Yep.
That are going to be in a little bit of showtime mode.
Yep.
And
He
if-
will get so many uncontested
Zorko's going to need someone to kick it
marks.
to.
Yep. For a 1-2.
Doedee, who are you, mate? Oh yeah, I've been here at the club for 12 months, bro.
Well,
Kick it
that's
back.
the thing. They will reward him for, bringing positive vibes for 12 months.
Well,
Didn't
that's
even
it.
get a game.
A lot of towel waving
They'll
going on
give
there.
him a heap of kicks.
They will.
Anyway, that's the Brisbane Lions. I think we've covered off a fair bit there.
And we have. And that wraps it up.
It does wrap it up the
What a
club
names.
preview series. You've just joining us today for the first time, go back.
Yes.
There's 17 other clubs to listen to.
Better
and
ones.
Find out about for their fantasy stocks for 2025, which is the preseason. We're well and truly into it. If you haven't started picking your team, fantasy.afl.com.au is where you do that. And head to afl.com.au/fantasy. That's where you find the fantasy hub with heaps of information. Heaps of stuff. Plenty of articles. We've got great stuff coming up. We're about to get working very hard on a lot of content for this preseason. So, yeah, head there for that. Podcasts will become very regular as well. Not that these haven't been regular, but we'll be back into the normal flow of things with a lot of exciting stuff coming. So if you haven't hit the follow button on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or you're clicking back to afl.com.au, make sure you're doing it. Be part of the fun, because that's, I think, what the fun of fantasy is like talking about it now. And we're all on the level playing field.
That's it.
We're all experts. No one's wrong.
We're all a chance.
And there's no reason every single player doesn't average over 100, Cal.
No reason why I don't win a hat, Roy.
No, it's just nice to talk about it without the lingering frustration and disappointment of what your team's doing.
That's it.
Anyway, we are excited about it. So come along for the ride at afl.com.au. Well done, boys.
Good job.